Hi there. So, back in October 2017, I uploaded my first proper YouTube video, which was a showcase of my Doctor Who DVD collection, which, at that time, was very, 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 very small. But ever since then, I've been slowly expanding that collection, and I've been sharing that expansion with all of you via this YouTube channel. But now, just over 4 years later, I've decided to stop collecting the DVDs. Basically, I'm all grown up now, and there just isn't room in my life for this weird, not very good kids show. Just kidding, I'm just collecting the Blu-rays instead. I'm not getting rid of the DVDs either, no way, I'm just not gonna buy any more. Partially because, as I said, I'm shifting to Blu-ray, and partially because I have exactly 50 DVDs, which is just so satisfying. But yeah, seeing as the DVD collection is kind of the foundation of this YouTube channel, I thought it was only fitting that I gave you all one last update. I also wanted an excuse to make a YouTube video because I miss it. But without any further ado, let's take one last look at my Doctor Who DVD collection. Now, before we talk about the show itself, I've got to give a shout out to the Peter Cushing Dalek movies. This was one of the first DVDs I bought when I was getting into Doctor Who as a kid, and honestly I had no idea what this set even contained. I just knew it was something to do with Daleks, and honestly that's all you need. I adored these films as a kid, and obviously I still adore them now. Who doesn't? They're amazing. But moving on to the show itself now, just for ease, I'm going to go Doctor by Doctor, starting with the first Doctor, because numbers. I've got a whopping 4 Hartnell DVDs in my collection, those being An Unearthly Child, The Daleks, The Edge of Destruction, and The Dalek Invasion of Earth. With the exception of Edge of Destruction, I think all of these stories are maybe a couple of episodes too long, but if you can set aside enough time and really get yourself into the right mood, these are all great stories, and I'm very happy to have them all. Although, fun fact, I bought Dalek Invasion of Earth second hand, and it came with this weird disc with no menu or special features. I think it originally came as a free gift with the Radio Times or something. Either way, it is not the disc that's supposed to come in this box. But hey, it's a fun little oddity, and I still get to watch the story, so can't complain too much. Moving on now to Doctor 2 Electric Boogaloo, starting with The Moonbase and The Makra Terror, 2 great stories with some great animation to boot. They're both very different styles, but I think they both work really well for their respective stories. The Ice Warriors will go down in history as the last DVD I bought, and it was not a bad one to go out on. I'm also actually just realising as I record this that The Enemy of the World is the only complete Troughton story that I own. All the rest I have are either partially or completely animated. So that's a thing. Speaking of partially animated, The Invasion, where I don't think the animation is all that amazing, but still, it's a great story and I'm so happy to have it in any form. May as well throw a couple of Blu-rays in here, those being The Power and The Evil of the Daleks. The Power Steelbook is one of my absolute favourite physical things in my entire collection. It's so pretty. And Evil of the Daleks, while the presentation isn't as impressive, is still a wonderful story with some properly impressive animation. I'm so glad I picked this up. Up next is number 3, John Pertwee. For season 7, I've only got the Ambassadors of Death and Inferno, but if Spearhead from Space and the Silurians are anywhere near as good as these, then that's a darn good season. One of my ultimate comfort stories is up next with Day of the Daleks, which I'm constantly rewatching. Such good vibes. Frontier in Space is pretty good too, but Planet of the Daleks, just like Day, is another comfort story. I unashamedly adore it. There's just something about Third Doctor Dalek stories that's just so good. And to finish off the Pertwee collection, we have The Time Warrior, Invasion of the Dinosaurs, and Death to the Daleks. 3 really fun stories, although I have to admit, Death to the Daleks is a somewhat disappointing end to the previously wonderful Pertwee Dalek trilogy. But it gave us a lot of good memes, so I shouldn't complain. Stop that move! Now for the Tom Baker DVDs, and there's rather a lot. To start us off, we have all but one of the season 12 stories. Sorry, Ark in Space. The 4 Sarah Jane Harry TARDIS team is one of my absolute favourites, and having the Brigadier in the mix and Robot is just perfection. Sontaran Experiment is pretty fun and harmless, and Genesis of the Daleks is Genesis of the Daleks. Revenge of the Cybermen also featured in the first DVD unboxing on this channel, so there's a fun little thing. Please do not watch that video, it's very old and probably very embarrassing. Terror of the Zygons again brings the Brigadier back into things, and it's just so good. Apart from Harry leaving at the end. My boy. That was such a good TARDIS team. I really wish we could have had more of them. But alas, we get Pyramids of Mars instead, which is pretty good. And the Android Invasion comes along to give us a bit more Harry content, so that's always welcome. Next up, I've got The Deadly Assassin, which is one of those stories that everyone says is the best thing to ever exist, and yeah, it's very good, but I don't know, I don't think it's that good. It's like, it's very good, but personally, I actually prefer the next story in my collection, which is The Invasion of Time. It's just another comfort story for me. I don't know what it is. Something about it is just so fun. I love it. I could watch it forever. Up next, we've got actually a complete season in the form of the Key to Time saga. So you've got the Reboss Operation, the Pirate Planet, the Stones of Blood, the Androids of Tara, the Power of Kroll, and the Armageddon Factor. A somewhat wobbly season here with some kind of less memorable stories, and then some of my absolute favourites ever. Seriously, Stones of Blood gets so overlooked. It's a gem. And from positives to positives, City of Death and Shada, my joint favourite Who stories of all time. What can I say? I'm a big Douglas Adams fan. We round off the 4th Doctor's era with The Keeper of Traken, which gave us the Crispy Master, so it must be good, and Logopolis, which is so weird, but so good. It has such a weird vibe about it, but it's like so fun to watch. It's great. Now for the DVDs featuring the pleasant, open-faced 5th Doctor, of which I have 3. Castrovalva, Earthshock, and the 5 Doctors. I promise I don't have anything against Davison. I love him. I just haven't seen that many of his stories, for some reason. But the ones I have seen, I love. Well, Castrovalva's good, but Earthshock and the 5 Doctors are proper classics. On to Old 6C now, and the first classic story I ever got on DVD, Attack of the Cybermen. It's difficult for me to properly judge this story because I've got so much nostalgia for it, but hey, whoever said nostalgia was bad? I have a great time with it. So there. The Mark of the Rani introduces the Rani, who is amazing, and the 2 Doctors is kinda weird, but again, it's really fun to watch, and what more could you want from a Doctor Who story? Next up is another complete season in the form of The Trial of a Time Lord. I can take or leave the first half, Mysterious Planet and Mind Warp, but the second half, Terror of the Vervoids and The Ultimate Foe, are so good. I love these stories. Part of that might be because I actually really like Mel. I think she's so underappreciated. But I also just love Sexy and I love the Valiard, so, obviously I'm going to love these stories. Now for Doctor 7, we again only have 3. And again, that's nothing against 7. I love him. I just never got around to buying many of his DVDs. Silver Nemesis is again one of the first DVDs I unboxed on this channel, and it's another favourite. Cannot get enough of this story, it's so good. I've also got Battlefield and The Curse of Fenric, and you guessed it, I love them. And I know I've said that a lot, but what can I say? I just love Doctor Who. And last but absolutely not least, we have the TV movie, which is up there with City of Death and Shoutout as being one of my favourite bits of Doctor Who ever. I can't remember whether I got this before or after Attack of the Cybermen, but either way it was one of the first DVDs I had, so obviously it has a very special place in my heart. Plus, I just think it's like genuinely just really good, and anyone who follows me on Twitter knows how much I love the Eric Roberts Master. He's just brilliant. This is an ambulance. But that's it for my classic Doctor Who DVD collection. Maybe worth throwing in some other oddities that I've got, like a couple of RTD era volumes, the Moffat Christmas specials, and the 3 Capaldi series. As I mentioned earlier, I've also got Power and Evil of the Daleks on Blu-ray, but I've also got the criminally underappreciated Twice Upon a Time. And I'm also so happy to say that I've started my own The Collection collection. So far I've got seasons 12, 19 and 23, and they're absolutely packed with content. As much as I love the DVDs, I have no doubt that this is the collection to continue with. Incredible stuff. And that's it. That's my entire Doctor Who DVD collection, plus a couple of Blu-rays. I really hope you've enjoyed this, whether you're new to the channel or you're someone who's been a part of this journey from the very beginning. Whichever you are, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please let me know. I technically quit YouTube at the end of 2020, but if this goes down well, maybe I'll pop back again sometime. Who knows? Thanks again for watching, and please remember, laugh hard, run fast, and be kind. Bye bye.